Hey, what's up, dudes? New tutorial for you guys today, although it's a little bit different from the normal, using OBS and all that kind of stuff. So today we're talking about how to stream IRL, and I want to stream with this. But how do you do it? And how do you do it on the go? How do you go out in the world and stream off of this thing? Well, all you need yourself your phone, whatever service provider you have, make sure you got a service. Then you're going to need yourself a little thing like this called, I don't know what this is called. It's like a 12-in-1 thing. But this came in from Aki a while back that I did a little review for. It's a wonderful piece of gear, and it allows me to plug this right into my phone using USB Type-C. And it comes with all these different connections over here on the side. We got two USB 2.0s, two USB 3.0s. We got a USB 3.0 USB Type-C connection. On the back side, we got a charging port, USB Type-C. And then we also have two outputs for HDMI, as well as a SD card slot and a micro SD card slot. Now that's for sending out stuff or taking in the media that you maybe have. But we're just going to worry about the USB side because most likely you have a capture card on hand or you have a webcam on hand. So if you have yourself a webcam, you're going to be able to connect this right on in to this device, in which case it'll talk to your phone and you'll be able to stream it right to the old internet. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. So again, we have our camera, we have our 12-in-1, although you might be able to use something not as crazy as this 12-in-1 product right here, which I'll go into and I'll look around for you guys. But all these description of all the gear and stuff that I show you guys today, I'll put it down below just so you know exactly what it is. Now, so we got the camera, we got the 12-in-1, we got ourselves a phone, we got ourselves a camera, and if you don't want to use a web camera and you're trying to use this guy out in the field, you're going to need yourself a little capture card, and this one literally costs $10. You know, it's a little USB 2.0 capture card. I did a review for it. Check that link right there. With this little capture card, you would just simply plug it into the USB 2.0 slot, and now all you need yourself is a cable to connect from your capture card into your camera. And now that you're connected there, then you take your 12-in-1 and you just plug that right on into your device, and now you have yourself a little to-go box here. And again, if I plug it all in, just like that, I'm kind of all connected here. Now, again, I have the four devices: the camera, capture card, cable, we got the 12-in-1, and we got my phone. And if I go ahead and just turn on this camera, you're gonna see that this will most likely pop up here and you're able to see yourself in just a hot second. You can already see that there's some motion happening as I move my camera around. So it's already working. Just keep in mind that this does work, and you can also use it to be a self-monitor if you wanted to on your normal cameras, but this is what we're streaming with. Now you can already tell that we have this all connected here, but we might need a little bit of audio. So just as a quick little pick-me-up, I got myself a little Rode onboard microphone. I'm gonna go ahead and plug that into my camera here. I'm gonna plug this bad boy in, and now I got audio coming through. And again, we're still connected. Everything's looking pretty good. Next step I could do is I could take maybe a little stand, a little gorilla arm here. So if I go ahead and just plug this guy in. Now, granted, you could probably find a better gorilla arm. So this one I actually kind of pulled apart. I took the little ball mount off of it and whatnot. So it's not as good as it could have been. But anyways, so now we have this, and I can let that sit right there off to the side. And again, this one does have a little flip out screen. So that'll be nice for if I'm doing kind of like, some selfie work. That's kind of key in the situation. You kind of want to have yourself a little monitor so you can see yourself. Now, you will be able to see yourself on your phone, but I'll get into why you might not want that here in a second. So again, we have our setup here. I'm just going to go ahead and connect this cable back up, but you can already kind of tell that this is a little bit of a problem here. This is a little too far away, and maybe I don't want this to be so close. So I went ahead and I unplugged here, and now I got myself just a little simple HDMI cable. So I'll take one end and I'll plug it into the capture card, and then I'll take the other end. I know it's a lot of cables and stuff. And I got this little HDMI female to female connector right here. I'm gonna go ahead and connect that on in, and now that's nice and connected. And then we're gonna take I have another little smaller cable that we just saw a second ago, and that's gonna be this little tiny guy. So I connect this side right into here, and then I can finally plug this guy back into my camera. And so now we're connected here. We got ourselves a nice long cable going to our 12-in-1 box here. And then again, we would just plug this into our phone. And then just like that, we are connected, back up and running. And I can actually back away from the camera because now I got a little more room. The only problem I have with this, and before we actually get into how to stream it, having the little HDMI capture card come out the side like this, that's not really good. You might snap it off, it might break off and whatnot. So what I end up suggesting is you get yourself a nice little adapter, something kind of small, little USB 2.0 to USB 2.0, you know, male to female. So I'm gonna go ahead and just plug this on in like this. So now that's plugged into the 12-in-1 device, and now I can take the little capture card, and now I plug this bad boy in, and now you can see I'm not gonna be breaking my capture card or the little USB port because it's kind of just plugged into the side here. Again, everything's fine. It's not coming out of the side all weird and stuff, so it's just kind of nice and simple. And now it's just, this is my setup. This is my setup. That's it. That's all it is. So now that you kind of understand that part, I'm gonna go ahead and unplug the 12-in-1 thing. I'll leave the camera on just for now. You need yourself a phone, and you need yourself a phone that can download the app called USB Camera. Now there's a free version and then there's a paid version. I forget the difference. I had the free version and it didn't really work out so well with me and some other little devices I had. So I ended up just saying, just give me the best of the best. I think it was like $5 or $8, something like that. So I downloaded USB Camera. So when you get the app downloaded on your phone, this is what it's gonna look like. The little app, you see a little pro icon there, and I paid for the paid version here, the pro version, but there's a free version. So if I go ahead and open it up, right like that, you just already see that it says, hey, connect a webcam. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my capture card by using the little 12-in-1 adapter here. And then within a couple seconds, you're gonna see that the camera's gonna pop up. And just like that, we already have our camera kind of, you know, it's working here. So I'm actually gonna face the camera toward me so maybe you guys can see a little bit more. All right, so just like that, we're already connected. So it's already working. You can see it right here. And over here on the top right, so it automatically connects. It finds what you want and it'll just get it connected super fast. Now this also works with a webcam, so keep in mind if you plug in a webcam, it'll detect it like right away and it'll just start to show the image. Now a couple things I can do while this is already loaded up, I can just tap the screen and that'll hide all the information. Now I could turn my phone and I get the full screen of my phone here, but it doesn't really matter. You get the idea. So on the top right, you actually have a little USB icon, and if I click on that, you're gonna see it's gonna show one USB device. Now if I had multiple devices plugged into this thing, which you can do, I would be able to select my webcam or my main camera here if I chose to. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that as the camera that it is. You also have this little icon right here called the plus minus. So that's actually going to adjust your webcam settings if you actually have that enabled. Now right up here, we also have a motion detection thing. So I think this might be used for people who maybe want to monitor their house and kind of want to set up a camera or a live stream from their apartment or their house or wherever they are. So that's one thing that you can do in this app. Now on the top right, you also have the little settings. So you can safely eject. They safely recommend that you eject your devices they have plugged in. So maybe try to do that just in case that you don't want to mess anything up. Then you have your other settings down here. You have main settings, you have sizing. So if I click on size, that's going to be the size of the capture. Now this capture card is a 1080p capture. It only captures up to 30 FPS, so that's all we're seeing right here. We got the audio settings. It's going to show you that's what our audio is. If I come down again, we can flip horizontal, flip vertical. We can look at our device info, and we can also come back here. We can go enter the background, or we can go to picture-in-picture yet again. So at the top, there's actually the settings icon, and this is going to be where you start to edit all your stuff. So the notice pops up that once you go into settings and you come back out of it, it's going to restart the camera. It takes a matter of seconds. So if I hit OK, so you can see all the different settings we have here. If I click on general, there's a bunch of settings here. If you want to go ahead and slow down the video and take a look at what's available, feel free. I'll back up and I'll kind of go through all this stuff so you guys can kind of see what is actually available in the application here. You got all the general settings here. You can enable a microphone. You can also enable stereo microphone. Now, so if your camera doesn't have a microphone on it, you can also use your device's microphone built into your phone. So don't feel like you're obligated to use the audio that comes from a device. So if you have a camera that has no microphone, you can always use the microphone that is with your phone. So coming down here to UVC device, that is what I'm actually having plugged in right now. So you can see I do have enabled UVC audio input. So you're hearing the microphone from my phone technically. So down here at the bottom, you also have audio playback. So if you have that enabled, you're going to hear your audio playing back with inside while you're recording or streaming or whatever you're doing. You're going to hear your own audio here. So enable that or disable that at your own will if you choose to. Down here, the easy cap, it's also looking at the capture card and it's determining what the input is, all the audios, all that kind of stuff. You also have your recording settings and all this stuff. You have your server. So I'm going to use hardware encoding, the H.264 profile. You can see down there the H.264 profile. I selected high. The custom bitrate, I chose my own custom bitrate. The bitrate I chose is 5. Now, generally, Twitch likes somewhere around 6, but just because we're mobile streaming, I want to make sure that it's something kind of comfortable, maybe around 5, and it should look okay. So here's where it gets kind of tricky. Now, the way that I'm doing this, you can technically enter in your stream key here and directly stream from your phone to your channel. You don't have to deal with anything else, and it's just a quick direct feed. The RTM push, everyone has the same RTMP URL right there. It's the live.twitch.tv/app. And then down below that, that's where you take your stream key from your Twitch and you go ahead and implement it into this thing. So you just gotta type in your key code there or copy it from wherever you can. Then down below you have the settings manager. You have Ask RTMP settings, and then you have a bunch of other settings as well. So let's go ahead and scroll past this. So we also have the title. We have ourselves, which doesn't really matter. The title doesn't really do anything here for us. But down here you have the user, the admin, password, all that kind of stuff. So you can make sure that nobody logs into your account, even if you do happen to leak something. Maybe no one can start to see you live whenever they choose to. So keep that in mind that could happen if you leak things out. And that's pretty much it. So just like that, if I go ahead and back on out of this, it's gonna restart the camera app, and boom, just like that, we're back up and running, and everything's looking pretty good. So that's kind of the whole application in a nutshell. Now, if you want to start to go live, once you entered in your stream key and your stream code and all that kind of jazz, you're just going to come down here to the bottom right. You're going to hit the little red icon. It's going to bring up the IP camera server, record, or snapshot. Now, snapshot, you kind of know what that is. It's going to take a screen grab of whatever you're looking at and save it as a picture. Recording, you can just simply record whatever you're looking at and send it, save it to your phone. So if you wanted to record your camera to your phone, you could, or you come over here to IP camera server. And if I click on that, you're going to see that it's going to go ahead and access my credentials here. And then we are in, and you can see that we have a couple of different settings down here. You can see the IPv6. So I'm going to hide all that information so you guys don't need to see it. And then, so on the bottom left is the little RTMP push button. And let me actually go to my desktop on my stream PC here. So I have this connected to an alt Twitch account called activator_. And again, if I bring back up my phone, if I just go ahead and click on the bottom left here to the RTMP push, once I click that, it's automatically going to start streaming to this account. Now, if I look over here in a couple seconds here, this should pop up, and just like that, we are already streaming. And you can see that we're already live and things are looking pretty freaking sweet and cool, man. So again, I could take my my whole setup here and I could just walk away with it. As long as you have a stable connection and everything, you should be okay. So just keep in mind, now we're streaming. We're using our mirrorless camera here that shoots in 4K. If I really wanted to show it off, I could, but just keep in mind, now you know how to stream using your camera here, which is pretty cool, man. Long story short, you could also just stream using the streaming apps such as Streamlabs or Stream Elements and stream directly from the app or even the Twitch app, and then just use the phone camera that you have built already in. But this is for the person that's trying to step up their game a little bit and maybe present themselves with a nice, maybe higher end type of camera. So someone that maybe wants to take this camera right here and go live with it, they can. The only other gear that I might want to add to this is maybe just having a little bit of extra batteries for my camera to make sure that it doesn't die on me. And having extra batteries is always a positive thing. You got to make sure that you can keep going live. Now, that is one downside to the application here, is that when you unplug or when you turn off your camera, it cuts the feed, it cuts the stream. So keep that in mind. Now, one way you can get around this is the way that I utilize this. And the way that I utilize this is to stream to an alternate account. And then I take this computer that you're seeing right now, this camera and all this setup, and I just record my screen with that account on it. So if I go back to my screen here, so if I was streaming here, all I would do is simply come over here and just go full screen. Now, every time the feed gets cut, they might get a static image like this, but as soon as I'm ready to go back live, I just plug my camera back in, everything's good to go. And I, in the app again, I just hit RTMP push, and just like that, we're back up and live. Last little piece of gear that I might want with this setup is on top of batteries and whatnot, I also maybe want to get myself a battery for my phone. So I could just take my little external battery here and just, plug in a cable and then come over to my 12-in-1 device that is plugged into my phone. And I just plug this guy in. And now I just set this off to the side. And again, this would be connected to my phone. And this is now my mobile setup that has a little bit of a charging base station if I need the extra power, but technically this isn't needed. I don't need the extra power, but if I happen to need it in some sort of situation, I have something that can go ahead and take care of the job. So now that you have your whole kind of setup here, I know this is kind of a little bit thick and big, but now this is kind of like all set up and good to go. So technically I could just stick this whole thing in my back pocket, and now I have my mobile setup, and I can just walk around while this is connected and everything else is in my back pocket. So last thing that you might want to do is go ahead and my phone has a feature where I can double up on applications. Technically, I can have half my phone displaying all the new followers or subs or donations and all that kind of stuff. And then on the top of my phone, I could display the chat. Now, if you really wanted to get fancy and you had a secondary phone, you could always like hotspot your phone to that phone and then use a secondary phone while this one's in your pocket, just, you know, taking care of all the business. You take your secondary phone and maybe attach to your arm, or I don't know, just keep it in your hand. And, you know, because you're connected to this phone, you can just simply read chat and all your messages and stuff will pop up there. So that's it. That's this whole video, man. I just wanted to show you guys that it is possible to go ahead and connect a DSLR or mirrorless camera to your streams and live stream while on the go with this. Now, this is only specifically if you're trying to do something like that. Now, you could simply have everything just with your phone. So keep in mind, maybe all this extra gear is not worth it for you, and all you really want is to just have your phone and a camera on your phone. And this could be your live streaming device, which is pretty cool. So keep in mind that you could just make this it, and that's it. So anyways, that's the end of this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe, man. It would help me out a lot. If you want to support in an easy way, just hit the little like button. And if you want to help me out even more, go ahead and sub to the channel and come back and check out my other videos, or go pop around in my channel and see all the tutorials and everything else I got going on. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.